Today I want to talk about the edge of sleep. Hey guys, welcome back to Tipharot. It's me, Matt here, and today I'm discussing the edge of sleep. What do I mean by the edge of sleep? Well, what I mean is that state that you're in where you can kind of come in and out of dreams and you're kind of not really asleep but not really awake at the same time. So you might find yourself when you wake up in the morning, for example, feeling like you're thinking about something. Like you just have these memories of thinking about these rather strange and weird subjects, but they're not actually memories about thinking about them, they're actually dreams. But you're just in this weird half awake, half asleep state, so you kind of don't really process that. It just feels like you're thinking about these things. Another example is you will wake up from a dream and you will still react as if that dream is real. Have you ever had a nightmare and woken up and you've still felt like you're in danger even though you're awake and you know you're awake? And you still feel like that really happened, so like you had a bad dream about something and you feel like it really happened even though you knew it was a dream. That is because you're kind of on the edge of sleep, and so you're kind of half awake, half asleep. And this is a really interesting state. So I kind of wanted to talk about it because I was thinking about the recent video I made discussing astral projection versus lucid dreaming. And in that video I talked about this experiment that was done and how it seemed like people who were astral projecting were during the first stage of sleep, and stage 1 sleep that is, and basically this is the lightest stage of sleep when you've just fallen asleep but you can be woken up by anything and it's almost as if you're awake the whole time. So you're kind of half awake, half asleep. And so I was thinking about this and I was thinking about these moments they have, because I actually woke up this morning after having some particular dream about some event. Like I think it was about a friend visiting, and like we were talking about all these things, we were doing all these things, and when I actually woke up I knew it was a dream, and yet at the same time I thought that it had happened, and it was kind of weird, and it got me thinking about how this actually happens to me a lot. Like I will have this brief stage where I've just woken up from a dream and I know it was a dream but I still think that it's happened, and it only happens when I'm like right on that edge between sleep and wakefulness. And it reminded me of astral projection and that study, because astral projection is kind of like that. It is different from a regular dream, it's different from lucid dreaming. That's why I made this distinction between lucid dreaming and astral projection, because lucid dreaming, like, it never feels to me like I'm actually really doing it. Like it always feels like a dream. It can feel very realistic, but it always feels like a dream. Whereas with astral projection, it feels like I'm actually going somewhere. And it reminded me of that thing that I felt this morning, where I felt like something that I had dreamt had actually happened, even though I knew it was kind of a dream. And that reminded me of the feeling with astral projection. And I wondered if, because astral projection perhaps happens in this stage of sleep, you know, this very light stage of sleep, perhaps this is why it feels so real and why it has those characteristics, because you're kind of at that edge of sleep and wakefulness where your brain kind of doesn't know whether you're dreaming, whether you're awake, and it kind of meshes the two together. Now that's not to say that you're not perhaps leaving and going somewhere. I don't really know, I don't have the answers, but what I feel is that this could explain the kind of vivid feeling that you have that you're doing something real, that you're actually really going somewhere, and that this is a very real, tangible experience. It could be because of that state where you're just on the edge between being awake and being asleep. And it's very interesting too, because if you can get into that state, it is a lot easier to do things like astral projection. For me, astral projection is quite hard, and I've only done it a few times. But the times when I did it, when I was actually in that state where I was like half awake, half asleep, particularly if I was going in and out of sleep a lot, a channel called Phase Evolution, he talks about doing this. He talks about dipping into sleep just briefly and waking up like instantly. So you just go into sleep for like half a second and then wake up. It's kind of micro sleep. And when you do this repeatedly, you get into the perfect state for astral projection. And I noticed this in the past. In fact, I do say that I've only had a few astral projections, but there is this one particular day that I do plan to make a video about, you know, sharing the experience at some point. There's this one particular day before I knew what astral projection was, where I had these dreams that were unlike any other lucid dream that I'd had before, and just so weird and so real and so strange. And they all happened when I was going through this kind of cycle of microsleep. was waking up for a second, going to sleep for a second, waking up, going to sleep for a second, waking up, and on repeat. And basically I was just laying there and looking at my room, and I didn't even close my eyes. This is where it was really weird. I didn't even close my eyes. I was just looking at my room, and the room just changed in front of me, and I was just in some other place. It was a very, very strange experience, and like I said, I'm going to make a video about that, possibly even this week, possibly next week, so do stay tuned for that. But in those experiences, you know, those happened when I was at the edge of sleep, and those happened very, very easily. Like, I was able to go back there. On that particular night, I did it several times. So if that was, you know, astral projection, whatever you want to call it, then it was the easiest that night, like way easier than any of the other times I've done it, and it was because I was on that very, very edge of sleep. So it's a very, very useful place to be. It's also very, very easy to access sleep consciousness while you're in that actual state. So what I mean by this is you can access your dreams and so on a lot easier. This is why it's important to actually write down your dreams right when you wake up, because you're still in that state for a brief moment. So as long as you grab your phone or your notepad or whatever really, really quickly, you can actually remember lots and lots of details of your dreams, even if it doesn't feel like it, because you can readily access them more like regular memories during that state. Whereas later on, when you're just fully awake, you don't have that same level of access. Now I know this video is kind of a bit rambly because I didn't really have a fixed point that I wanted to say in this video, but I just kind of wanted to ramble about this subject a little bit because I thought it was kind of interesting, and I want to explore this more and find out more about this kind of edge of sleep and what it can be used for. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to subscribe up there for more. Also, if you want to support the channel, it means a lot, check out my Patreon page. Thank you guys for watching, take care.